we got the yes, and then we designed a system what David wanted, and that was across all 3 phases and not doing them individually. And we come up with a solution, and it's been working well, hasn't it?
It's working really well. On days like this, I'm loving it. Hi, I'm David Brown from Hoe Grange Holidays in the Derbyshire Peak District, and this is the farm diversification that we started way back in 2006. We were at that time a commercial dairy farm, farming 150 Friesian Holsteins, struggling because we're fairly marginal here, 1,000 feet above sea level, and to be honest, cows were never really my passion. So when we took up the diversification, which had actually been an idea of my father's 30 years earlier and then got shelved, we built our first 2 log cabins, which are over here. We built one for access, which was just a whim to satisfy planners, and it's turned out to be the best thing that we ever did. We're now one of the leading accessible holiday providers in the UK. But then got to 2009 and milk prices were going down. The holiday business was doing really well, so we made the decision virtually overnight to cull the dairy herd or sell the dairy herd and expand with another couple of cabins, which we did over 2010, 2011, and the ones here and these were all built for accessible use as well. At that time, we were just starting on our sustainable tourism journey. Originally, it hadn't been much of an idea. But then we were looking at ways of saving money, and we decided that we would take out the LPG gas systems that we got in the first 2 cabins, and we would build one central ground source system and then a district heating system throughout the site. So we have a ground source heat system in that small shed. There's 600 metres of pipe buried in a field opposite. So that heats all the 4 main cabins. It produces the hot water for these 2. That left us with gas for heating water for 2 more, which we didn't want, but we couldn't really risk trying to do the hot water for 4 units at one time in the morning when everybody's showering. So we put individual air source units on those 2 original cabins. And at that point we thought, yeah, well, we're onto something here. And then we started getting the electricity bills from running the ground source and the air source. So we then looked at renewable energy production. In 2012, after a bit of a battle, we got permission for a 10 kilowatt wind turbine and a 4 kilowatt tracking solar system, which we put in 2012. We followed it up fairly quickly with another array of solar, another 40 odd panels, another 10 kilowatt system on a static roof. And that's how we ran then for the next 10 years, finding that we were producing, some days we were producing nearly everything we needed, other days we were producing a bit but not a lot. And what we were doing, we noticed the days we were producing, we weren't using it because we've got nobody on site because they've all gone out because it's a lovely day, we don't need the heating on, so we're producing electricity and it's going straight down the wire onto the grid, 4 pence a unit, waste of time. So for years I've been looking at battery storage, and we've been going up against, to start with it was too expensive, the technology wasn't very good, it got better, the prices started coming down. We then discovered that we could possibly get a decarbonisation grant from the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. So we then started looking quite seriously at suppliers for battery and a bit more solar. And that's when we got in touch with James at Fusion Solar.
So David got in touch with us to solve a problem what you had.
We did, yes. We'd already got quite a bit of renewable generation, wind turbine and solar. But on days like this, when we're producing a lot, our holiday guests had gone out and we weren't using it and we were losing it. So I've been looking at battery storage for a few years and hitting against problems with the export of it. Our transformer wasn't big enough. It couldn't be done on 3 phases the way I wanted to do it. So I was saying, no, it can't be done. And then James said, yes, it could. So he was the man that then designed the system.
Yeah, so David got in touch with us, and I'll be honest, you were quite dismissive at the start, saying it couldn't be done. And I said, well, you know, you're wasting my time, so let me put my effort in. And if it can be done, everyone's a winner. So anyway, I set about trying to get to the bottom of the problems of what we're experiencing on this site, mainly being oversubscribed on the local transformer. Now, I put the application in and got the same answer as everyone else had been getting, and that was the DNO categorically said, no more renewable energies on this site. So then I, through 14 years of being in this industry and coming up against numerous similar situations where I got the no's, and pushing back on them and knowing what elements to push back on and what questions to ask, we eventually worked a way out of fitting certain protection devices in, and the words were in the DNO's words, I'm running out of things to say no, I'm running out of reasons to say no. So we got the yes, and then we designed a system what David wanted, and that was across all three phases and not doing them individually. And we come up with a solution, and it's been working well, hasn't it?
It's working really well. On days like this, I'm loving it.
Yeah. Even that well, he's even ordered some more batteries just to top it out to the absolute max he can get now.
That's it.
So we did design the system with a bit more expansion in the top for potentially future upgrades. I think you've got to about 6 months and then decided to do it, haven't you?
Yeah, well, and most of that 6 months was winter, and it wasn't brilliant, but March has just been, we've exported quite a bit of energy again in March, and yeah, the opportunity came with some funding to expand, so going straight for it. I'm not messing about.
So again, with David, with this site, is got the benefit of some grant funding, and also you won an award for sustainability, didn't you?
We did, which came with a prize to pay for the extra batteries.
Yeah, so everyone's a winner. So like what we like to do, like our specialist is bespoke systems that we design from the ground up, site by site. We're not a one shop fits all, like just bang a system in and it works how it works. We really try to design it that it works for the site. So that's where our specialities come in, over 14 years worth of experience, which, you know, over that time you come up against a lot of challenges. So that's what we're able to do here. So we're just here where we installed the battery pack and the inverter down the other side there. So we put these 2 stacks in here in this insulated box, which we bespokely made because batteries do suffer from cold, so especially when you're putting them in barns, for instance, where they've got no insulation whatsoever, it's always good to keep them insulated so you can close them in the winter, so you can keep performance of the batteries working well. So this went through last winter and worked great with no drop in performance, so we're very happy with the outcome of that. So this particular box we built in a way that we've got left a bit of room for additional batteries, and funnily enough, after 6 months David's decided to actually add more batteries to actually max this system out on battery storage on that one inverter. So the reason why David's looked for battery storage is because he's already got existing generation, a wind turbine that on good days, especially like today, all that energy we're just going back to the grid, because in the daytime the farms, the holiday lets are quite low usage because everyone's gone out enjoying the days. So when he needs power is in the evenings, like most people do at home. So the only way to try and benefit from that is to store the energy. So David opted for some battery storage, which he got some grant funding towards, which helped with the capital costs, which we helped with that application process. Now, this particular system now is retaining up to 70% of his generated power on site, which is meaning approximately 70% reduction in his energy bills, which, you know, is pretty fantastic. Yeah, so we're now at the brains of the operation now. This is a 25 kilowatt 3-phase inverter. So this does all the charging, discharging, charging from the other solar and the wind on site. It's constantly monitoring the grid for if there's any excess power and there's capacity in the batteries, it will automatically charge accordingly. And also, as part of this system, it also sends the data onto a nice looking app where you can see all the production throughout the year and your daily stats, which is very useful. And also the big bonus to this is we're logged into that as well, so if any faults we get notified straight away, and more often than not we check this every morning. We know about faults before you even do, so a real great bit of kit for monitoring your system and performance. So we do that as standard on all our systems. We have monitoring on every single system we install, so we know that we can keep them running healthy for long into the future and pick up any potential faults early on and diagnose and get somebody out and repair them. But we've been doing this for over 14 years now, so we're well versed on service and maintenance. So if this is something of interest to you, adding either batteries to your existing system or getting a new system with batteries as well, then come and see us at the Serial Show and come and have a chat. It's Fusion Solar UK.